You must have heard the saying, the ground slipping from under your feet, but for this man, it actually starts to happen. The story begins with a Frenchman named Remy. He was living a comfortable life as a painter with his wife Lucille and their 2 children. One day, while playing with his kids, Remy noticed that he was suddenly sinking into his chair. He quickly stood up, but this strange incident kept running through his mind for quite a while. From that day on, strange things like this kept happening to him. Sometimes he would start sinking into a sofa, and other times, even while sleeping, it felt like the bed itself wanted to swallow him. He couldn't understand the reason behind all this, so he thought maybe it was just his imagination. One day, Rami was in the studio with his children. By mistake, he forgot to turn off the water tap. As a result, the entire studio was flooded. Because of this small mistake, his whole career was ruined. He tried to save whatever paintings he could, but at that very moment, he started sinking into the ground again. This time, he couldn't pull himself out and ended up in the ocean of another world. In this world, there weren't just 1 or 2, but 33 suns. Just then, some tribesmen saw him and started running toward him quickly. Frightened, Rami backed away, and someone pulled him back into the water. The very next moment, he was back in his own world. Rami knew that this couldn't be just a dream. When he got home, he told Lucille about it, but she wasn't ready to believe him either. In fact, his wife was lost in thoughts of someone else. Lucy had fallen in love with her boss, Dr. Geller, and now she wanted to live with him instead. In just one day, Rami lost both his career and his wife. It was as if a mountain of troubles had come crashing down on him. Even then, Remy tried to calmly talk things out and solve the problem, but Lucille actually brought Dr. Geller home to introduce him to Remy. What on earth is going on here? She brought her lover home to meet her husband. This woman really isn't afraid of anything. Rami didn't say a word and just let them do whatever they wanted. Feeling hopeless, he said that he would leave the house in just a few days. After that, he went to his family to ask for help. They listened to him for a while, but no one really paid much attention. Feeling disappointed, Remy went to the kitchen to make some coffee. Once again, strange things started happening. The house cat suddenly froze in midair. Remy grabbed it and moved it around, but it was as if the cat had turned into a toy. He called out to his family, but then realized that everything around him had come to a standstill. Time itself had come to a halt. The ground slowly started turning into liquid, and once again, Remy began to sink into it. When he opened his eyes, he saw that he was in the middle of a forest. He walked ahead and saw some tribal people cooking an animal they had just hunted. He asked them for help, but instead, they started chasing him to make him their meal. Remy ran for his life at the speed of a train. In no time, he reached a village and hid inside a cave. Just then, a powerful force pulled him back, and he crashed down into his own home. The whole kitchen was a mess, with things scattered everywhere. When his family came to see, Remy tried hard to explain everything to them, but they thought, oh, he must have mixed something into his coffee and started drinking it, and after his wife left him, he's just in shock. Poor guy. After that, he fainted and collapsed right there. He woke up in the hospital, but even there, nothing helped. Even the doctors didn't believe what he was saying. The next day, when Remy went to his studio, the bank people and all his clients were there to collect their money from him. Suddenly, all of them stopped talking and moving. Before Remy could make sense of anything, he started sinking into the ground again. He tried hard to stop himself, but for the 3rd time, he ended up in the other world. He was sitting in a basket on a tree, and all the villagers were looking at him with joy. It seemed like they had all been waiting just for him. Through their gestures, he understood that they wanted to see him fly. I've paid 50 rupees, I won't go home until he highs. Remy, fired up, also tried to fly, but just ended up falling flat on his face. They force-fed him a magical green fruit. Suddenly, they were able to understand each other easily. Then the chief of the tribe explained to them how he finally reached their world. He told them that all the tribespeople were actually troubled by a terrifying monster named Jutan. It would snatch anyone, kill them, and eat them. The tribe's scholars discovered that, according to one of their ancient books, only a man from another world could save them from the monster. That's why they were trying to bring that hero into their world using magic and rituals. All those strange things happening to Rami were because he was the protector of that tribe. But the man who couldn't even beat up his wife's lover, how was he supposed to defeat a monster? He flatly refused to help the tribe. But to change his mind, the tribespeople hung him upside down from a rock. Then he was placed inside a cave. There, he was supposed to come up with a plan to fight the monster. As soon as Rami, driven by hunger, picked up a watermelon that was lying there, he was transported back to his own world. This time, he didn't even bother telling anyone his story. He knew that no one would believe him anyway. After that, he went to a library and started searching for a solution to his problem on Google. But even Google didn't have an answer for him. Now he started loading up on protein so he could become strong enough to defeat Jotan. The next time he arrived in the other world, he was filled with new energy. The tribe members gave him a sword and asked him about ways to avoid Jotan. He told all the villagers to settle in a new village and promised to protect them along the way. They believed that anyone who stepped outside the village boundary would be struck by lightning from the sky. Remy was the first to cross the boundary and showed everyone that nothing would happen, and soon the whole village started following him. Now everyone was convinced that Remy was their hero. A few hours later, 2 of Jotun's men blocked their path. They told everyone to return to the village, but Remy bravely stood up to them and by sheer luck even managed to kill one of them. A little while later, they got word that Jotan was about to attack their tribe. After returning to his own world, Remy started reading books about war, art, and history. He began to study and understand the techniques and strategies of battle. He realized that to win a war, it's essential for the fighters to have passion. The next time he met them, he delivered a powerful speech that inspired them with the spirit to fight and sacrifice for him and his family. Being the hero of the tribe, Ravi Baya never locked attention from girls, but even so, he never looked at anyone else because he still loved his wife. After a while, he returned to his own world and started spending some time with his son. When Ravi returned to the tribe, he saw that the battle had already begun. They were losing badly to Tan's army, so to save people from dying, he brought them back to his hideout. After that, Ravi told everyone the next part of the plan. The next day, he went to the enemy soldiers while they were sleeping and started insulting them. He slapped some, teased others, and got everyone to chase after him. His plan was working perfectly. The enemy soldiers chased after him onto an open field, and right there, Ravi ordered his army to attack, while he himself ran and hid inside a hollow tree. The tribals attacked with arrows, killing half the enemies, and the rest fled the battlefield. Everyone bowed their heads before Ravi because he was their true hero. After the war, they all settled on a new land. Ravi had now become their king. Using his modern knowledge, he introduced many new things in the village. Gradually, they made a lot of progress. There, Ravi was worshipped like a god and was always surrounded by girls. While living there, he even painted something like the Mona Lisa. Before they knew it, 6 months had passed, and after being king for so long, Ravi had changed a bit. Earlier, he used to be afraid of Lucille's boyfriend, Geller, but now just seeing Ravi made Geller break out in a sweat. One day, the two of them even got into a physical fight, and after beating him up, Ravi felt a great sense of peace. With time, Ravi's success started going to his head. He began treating his own people like slaves. For a few months, people quietly followed his orders, but later they started speaking out against him. When Ravi got wind of this, he tried to talk to the people. They said that he made them work too much and paid them very little. Now, instead of luxurious palaces, what they really needed was to improve people's lives. Ravi even tried to compromise with them, but it was no use. Now things had gotten completely out of hand. The opposition captured him and threw him out of the village. After this incident, he had learned his lesson. Returning to his own world, Ravi asked a friend for help so he could start his studio again. He completely got rid of arrogance from his life. A woman named Delphine came into his life, and the two started liking each other. But as soon as Delphine kissed Ravi for the first time, he was transported to the other world once again. The villagers had called him back once more because to fulfill the tradition, it was necessary to kill Juten. Although Ravi didn't want to get involved in all this, they forcibly pushed him into Jutan's cave. During the fight, it started to seem like Ravi wouldn't make it out alive. He picked up a spear and threw it randomly, and it went straight into Jutan's chest. Seeing the demon dead, everyone started dancing with joy and began preparing for the final ritual. In fact, the final ritual was that they had to kill and eat Ravi. As soon as Ravi found out, he ran towards the jungle to save his life. But the old man who had brought him into this world with his magic threw a mystical object into the fire. Once it was destroyed, Ravi would never be able to return to his own world. He was soon caught and was about to be killed. But some people in the crowd picked up the burning mystical object and threw it into the water. Because of this, he ended up back in the hospital with his family. Lucille and Delphine were both there. When Delphine found out that their divorce wasn't finalized yet, she decided it was best to stay away from Remy for now. Seeing him almost die made Lucille realize that she still loved Remy, and that her affair with the boss was a huge mistake. What a two-faced woman she is, but our guy is tough. Remy said, "Okay sis, bye Verdak." In the other world, the tribes built a huge statue of Remy, and remembered him as their hero. In the end, we see Lucille and Remy on a beach with their children. They started a new life together, once again. Now that our Remy has melted, do you think you should trust Lucille or not? Be sure to let me know in the comments.